Leo, welcome into the channel. What is going on? So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it, Leo. We are in the throes of Taurus season. Taurus definitely brings a grounding element to it. It's earth energy, which is much needed right now. We're kind of in this weird time where things aren't horrible, but there's still kind of a lot going on, or we're still feeling the reverberations of all the stuff that has been kind of mounting, climaxing, changing, transforming over the past little bit. We've had that cluster of planets in Pisces that I've been talking about on the regular, and some of those planets are starting to move into Aries, so they're kind of straddling this line of emotion, feeling, and then action, triggering, etc. But the downside of fire energy is it can actually also lead to a lot of tension and aggression. It really is fueling this fire inside of us. It can be both good and bad, right? Like sometimes if we're not managing ourselves, it's way easier to pop off, get frustrated, upset, lash out, etc. But it's also that fuel, right? It's the fuel to the fire to kind of help us overcome some of these more difficult times, difficult situations, and especially as it relates to relationships, dynamics, people, situations, who and what we thought they were, and how that is actually changing. And right now, that cluster of planets is tensely aspected to the moon and the south node. So it's way easier when we're feeling the feels to revert back to old patterns, bad patterns, patterns that we don't necessarily like, right? So just be mindful. Try to give yourself so much love right now, Leo. It's like I said, it's not the worst thing ever, but we kind of have been through it lately where it's like we're ready for a little bit of reprieve. We're ready for things to kind of even out, balance out. And I do see that coming as we're moving through the end of the week. That earth element I was talking about is going to start enlivening. So it's going to help soak up some of that water and fire. But that's why I like to start these readings off with an energy cleansing, just kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, frustrations, limitations we might be coming into. It's a great time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have something on your heart, on your mind that you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just looking for more of a rebalancing of mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're functioning out of that space of alignment, knowing who we are, what we want, having this level of awareness, that's where we manifest our abundance, right? That's where we draw in happiness and fulfillment because we're aware, right? Self-love, self-care is the best way to manifest. All right. With that, Leo, all the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. Definitely hit me up. I would love to support in whatever way possible. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama Love. All right, Leo. So I'm picking up that you have someone, something on your mind, a situation that's not great right now. Maybe you're even in no contact is what I'm hearing. I feel like there's a lot of things about this that like unanswered questions, like you don't have a lot of clarity. It's not something, like I said, like I don't know that you're presently dealing with it, right? Like you're kind of put it off to the side, it feels like it's resurfacing. Intelligence, mental beauty. So these messages have been coming up lately in the collective, right? Like where we do have control over the thoughts we think. It's not about not trying to think those thoughts. It's about like when they come, don't pick them up, right? Don't engage with those thoughts. And maybe this is connected to this person's situation that you, oh yeah, the red rose, hidden secrets. This has also been coming out a lot in the collective, people hiding things. So, and we're kind of, depending on what side of the coin you're on, we're picking that stuff up. It's easy to kind of sense when someone's either lying or hiding. Maybe this is also attached to that. I definitely feel like there was a situation that is resurfacing that you haven't had a lot of control around or a lot of information with. You've worked really hard to kind of reset the stage though, maybe walk away, break away from whatever this dynamic was, because it does look in your recent past like you've had a breakthrough and you set the stage and you are really plugging into your life in a different way. Trying to find the pleasures this week is what I'm hearing. Blissful pleasure with this sweet pea, one of my favorites. It says, follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there are only walls. I love that. I think that's so powerful because I've been contemplating a lot on this about how much, going back to that thought energy, how much it can actually be very destructive when we attach onto the things that we can't really control, right? The things that we don't have control around. If people don't want to be honest, if they don't want to be, whatever, have morals, have values, that's up to them. And it's a hard thing to surrender. It's a hard thing to surrender, especially when they're people that we're close to or we have, closer dealings with, but whether it's business, finance, friendship, relationship, family, community, all that kind of stuff. And so much of that has been shifting in the collective, like I said, as a whole. Relationships are definitely in focus. You're waiting on and maybe you're waiting on this information. Maybe you feel like you will actually get something out of this, right? Like maybe you feel like this person's going to come back around. Maybe you guys kind of are on a standstill for some of you. I definitely feel like there is more of a no contact, or if you do have contact, it's very icy. Focusing more on home, on family, and not as much on like the bullshit around you, because it does kind of feel like that a little bit. Like I'm picking up this energy of like someone not being mature, someone not being able to have a conversation with you when it probably is warranted. And I don't know, there's a lot of fear though as well. Let's look into this a little bit more with the tarot. Okay. Yeah, I mean, someone just wanted their independence. They wanted to move out of a situation, or that's what they're planning to do. That's kind of where they're headed. Someone's starting to like create their own autonomy, or has since, but for some reason you're picking up a lot, like more in the intuitive energies. Right now, Neptune is in Aries. So Neptune is that value of our intuition, what we see, sense, feel, etc. And with it in Aries, I'm seeing this as like really needing to start believing in ourselves, believing what we're picking up, believing what other people not only show us in real time, but also, like I said, kind of those in between the lines as well. Because it does look like someone is definitely sending you signs, sending you signals. Maybe they're not interested. Maybe they are trying to, just like weigh the pros and cons is what it looks like. But a little bit brutal in their approach is what I'm seeing. Or maybe that's how you're feeling, because you're like all water energy this week. You're all water energy. I don't know. It does look like you're preparing. Maybe you're going to be the one who initiates contact with this person. Because you do look like you're assessing all your options. You look like you are taking your time. Definitely with the lovers, this is someone that is important to you, or this relationship, even if it's a situation, it's something that's important for you to save on some level. but you are feeling a little raw emotionally. It's definitely stolen some of your joy, how this has played out. And I feel like you do want some answers, some clarity. I do feel like you're preparing yourself in order to get there. You're not really sure how to go about it. And like I said, it doesn't really look like you're getting a lot from this other side. It looks like when you do approach them, however, there is a level of kindness. It's not like a, like it doesn't feel, maybe part of the fear, right? We always get afraid when we have to talk about serious things with people, whatever. It's not easy, comfortable conversations to have, but a lot of times our anxiety and fear makes it out to be like it's going to be 10 times worse. And what I'm seeing for you, Leo, is I actually don't feel like this is going to be a bad thing when you are ready to address it. Because even if this person's situation is coming off as like, I don't want to talk, I just want to move forward, it doesn't mean that they're closed off to you. You know, they're still kind of operating in this mindful way with the Four of Swords. They're contemplating each steps. You're on their mind too, but they're also choosing to be very, very diplomatic, meaning it's no emotions involved. The Queen of Swords is kind of known for being a little bit brutal at times. She makes the necessary cutoffs, removals, you know, she cuts people out when she feels it's just not right, you know, and kind of has to put the emotions to the side in order to do so. And that's kind of what you're seeing, and I think that that's part of the reason why you're a little bit afraid. But it looks like, here's the thing, I think that if you find the courage, if you find the strength to approach this, to figure out this is beneficial for you too. I'm not trying to say to put you in a weird position. Obviously, free will, you can do whatever you want, right? But there is this value, like if you do find the strength, it's actually not going to be so bad. And I think this is more about the anticipation. It's actually going to help things become a little bit more peaceful. Because that's also what I'm seeing with this Four of Air. That is like meditation, it's rest, it's being at peace. It's essentially finding tranquility for our soul. Maybe that's why this person's situation is setting up boundaries. But it does definitely feel like some unfinished business. And I'm seeing this as like you have a lot on your heart, like a lot on your chest that you want to get off. Like I feel like you do want to clear the air because there are some pieces that are missing, whether it's clearing the air for both of you guys, right? This is actually healing and helpful for both parties instead of just lingering in this wonderment. I feel like you're right now, as we are kind of, this week's energy is really interesting. It is more self-focused, but I feel like as we're kind of spending time with ourselves, processing through some of the stuff that's happened, it's showing, it's highlighting who and what we want to keep around us. It's actually giving us all the signs, all the arrows, pointing us in the direction of where that wish fulfillment actually is for you. And that's part of the reason why this is coming up. It does feel like there are some stubborn energies involved in this. And that's what you're kind of combating. It could come from you. I mean, you know, whatever. Who really wants to be the one to break the ice, right? It's not an easy thing to do. But at the same time, like I said, it's beneficial. It's beneficial for you. It's beneficial for them. It actually helps like restore some of this joy. Yes, there is disappointment around this, but it's not going to feel so bad once the air gets cleared. Again, easier. Oh, I love this. Dolphin, pure of heart. A true friend to the end. Her playful nature is a reminder to approach each occasion with delight. And maybe that's what you're trying to readjust within yourself. A lot of the times when we have to have hard conversations, so much of whether we are grounded in self, right? Like I was talking about earlier, when we're feeling good, when we're feeling like strong in who we are, it makes those conversations way easier. We can go in with a more lighthearted approach, you know? But if we're not, if we're all closed off and on the defensive, that's when things get really messy. I don't see this conversation happening this week, but this week is a lot about preparation. Octopus is reveal. We are reminded that revealing oneself requires bravery, 100%. In exposure, we are defenseless. We must lend ourselves grace when we are vulnerable. And that's exactly what this is about. Being vulnerable is so hard in these dynamics, right? When it's like a little bit of them, it's a little bit of you, and everybody just has to humble themselves and make, peace in order to make peace. You don't have to. Obviously, there's that lingering of like, well, yeah, I could linger, and that's just what it is. And then it's, becomes a cycle of karma, right? If we don't want to work it out, karma will come back around to help us, but not to be with my dark humor, I apologize. But there's just this value of like, it's hard. It's hard. Give yourself grace. And that's what I see you doing this week. It's more about getting ready, this anticipation of what this conversation will look like, how you want to represent yourself, how you want to show up in this dynamic. And it's all about your presence. I love this. As I'm saying this, the moose is presence. When we find balance and clarity, we are able to foster better results, 100%. Such a beautiful way to close out the reading, Leo. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.